for $20, I was able to turn my bookshelf from this to this with absolutely zero experience. And you can too. Okay guys, so I have this issue where I've spent thousands of dollars on visual novels, manga, light novels, and figures. Wait, that part's not the problem. The issue is the bookshelf that holds all these books and figures is fucking dim and looks like shit. And you probably have the same problem if you're watching this video. Now, you've probably all seen the videos of the cool LED mods, but they require soldering, LED controllers, and power injections, so you give up before you even start. But this mod isn't like that. Depending on how many bookshelves you have, for anywhere between $20 to $50 per bookshelf, I have an easy all-in-one solution for you. God, why do I sound like a salesman? I just want to show off this new mod because it's so damn cool. Like, look at this. This is easily by far my most favorite mod I've done to my room. It's literally just an Ikea Billy, but it glows. No LED hotspots, none of that wiring that blocks the shelves, literally just a completely normal Billy, but it glows. So I'll show you a very bad example of how to make this and all the pain, agony, and suffering this journey caused me, so you don't make the same mistakes I did. It is 5 a.m. and I am literally just taking apart my bookshelves right now. I'm so tired. So at this point, I realized that I'm going on a trip in 3 days and it's 6 a.m. So if Past Me wanted to finish this bookshelf, I needed to start then and now. So while Past Me takes apart the bookshelf, here's the rundown of the LED Billy mod. So I found this idea while scrolling through my figure collection, where I came across this picture, which led me to this post, which led me to this user, which led me to this picture, which led me back to the original post for some reason. So credits to whoever came up with it. Now, we're not going to follow it step by step because it's not that intellectually challenging. You take the bookshelf, you dig a hole, you stuff some LEDs in, you throw on the diffuser, and boom, you're done. You could probably click off the video now if you're good with your hands, but I make about $2 per video, so I'd really appreciate it if you stayed till the end and rewatched it a couple 100,000 times. And I'll make sure your generous view converted ad revenue goes into an honorable cause like anime figures. But back to my modified guide. Now, you'll obviously need to buy two things, LEDs and diffusers. Diffusers are kind of optional, but do you really want hotspots and end up with something like this? And no offense to whoever's collection this is, every collection is totally beautiful in their own way. Now, this mod will work with almost any type of LED and diffuser combo you can find, so there's really no excuse not to do it unless you're too lazy or too poor, in which case, that's fair, my bad. But I'll leave the ones I used in the description down below. I think my total was around $60, so basically $20 per bookshelf. And I'm doing 3 bookshelves, so I went with 6 rolls in one with all the cables and power brick included. So I don't need to cut any LEDs or solder anything. Just peel the tape, stick it on, and plug it in. Also went with a silicone diffuser over the aluminum channels with acrylic because it's easier to squeeze those in and you can be less exact with your cuts. Now, before I had this idea, my original plan was to put 2 or 3 of these spotlights on every shelf. Unfortunately, that's a terrible idea, and if you had the same idea, well, it's still a terrible idea, so don't do it. So now that I've masterfully convinced you that this is the best way to light up your Billy, let's get started. Okay, it is 5 p.m. the exact same day, so remember when I said disassembling is the hardest part? Or maybe I didn't, I think I removed that part from the script earlier, but it is the hardest part. Yeah, you need to take out everything. Every stud, every screw. I don't know why I thought I could do this with all the screws still in, so step 0, take apart your bookshelf, including all the screws. Now, step 0.5 is to acquire some materials. You obviously need the LEDs and diffuser and the bookshelf. The only other tool you'll need for this is a router, and not the Wi-Fi kind. Luckily, my friend has a router, so I'll be borrowing his, but if you don't have a router and you have no friends, I think you can rent one from your local hardware store, or maybe borrow one from a woodworking club. I don't know. If you don't have a router and aren't borrowing one, this project does get a lot harder. But these are fairly common, so you could probably find one secondhand, or assuming you're not a geeky neat with no social skills, maybe you could ask your neighbors. I still had to buy a new router bit though, so... Oh yeah, and for us in the USA where we use feet and stuff, just buy the closest router bit in inches that's slightly smaller and make 2 passes. I'll explain more about that later. Now finally, for step 0.75 is go outside. We're already outside, but I wanted to stress this, do this outside, because there will be a lot of fucking sawdust and you do not want this shit in your house. This is foreshadowing, by the way. Now, step 0.9 is to do a test cut. This is optional, like this entire mod, but it's nice to check where you're digging because we fucked up. Now the final step, step 1, is you start. No, really, that's it. You decide where your hole goes and turn on the router and start digging. Literally, the only hard part about this mod is acquiring the materials and mustering up the willpower. If you really wanted to, you could probably do this with a chisel and some elbow grease. Now, a bad guide on how to do this is I'm climbing down the other bookshelf wall to line up the router, then pushing the router against the wood while we go down the whole bookshelf. And I guess we didn't check if the router bit was screwed in all the way, so it came loose after some drilling, which is kind of dangerous, so don't do that. Or do that and check if your router bit is screwed in all the way. Yeah, you get the point. Also, check your damn batteries. Before we realized it, the batteries in the router were getting really low, so the cuts ended up being pretty jagged, but luckily the silicone hit it all. And after 2 bookshelf walls, we ran out of batteries and sunlight. So my friend went back to the lobby, so it was just me at midnight in the garage, and charging for an hour did not help. Yeah, this blows. So before going any further, we are going to do a test fit on everything and hope we didn't fuck up. And by we, I mean me. Installing is about as easy as it gets. You take the tape off, put the LED down, then put the diffuser on top. Now, I kind of have longer clips of installing these LEDs than of actually doing anything, so I'm not really sure what to talk about here while past me installs the LED. Either way, disassembly and reassembly is the real pain of this project. Unless you want to carry an entire bookshelf through your house, you'll have to take it apart, make several trips down, mod it, then bring it back up and assemble it in your cramped hallway or room. And if you have a boatload of stuff like me, you have to take that all out, find some place to put it, then put it all back in. The true challenge of this project is not your skill or intellect, it's your willpower. Either way, now that bookshelf 1 is done, 2 more to go. And with a full battery, drilling was about 10 minutes per shelf. And let me remind you, I had never even heard of what a router was before today. You do not want this shit in your house. Now we install the LEDs, diffusers, and reassemble again, then move them in. If you're wondering why I'm only working with 2 shelves right now, this is why. I bought the wrong length of diffuser, so yeah, shelf 3 is gonna have to wait till tomorrow. And finally, obviously, you plug in the wires and fill in your shelves. This is the moment of truth. That is so cool. I'm going to admit myself building shelf 3 since it's pretty much the exact same process. Originally, this was supposed to be a 1 afternoon project, but somehow ate up half my week. Now I'm going on a trip tomorrow and I've gotten nothing done except this. Honestly though, I do really like the look of the bookshelf now, and this was easily miles better than the tinting project back from the rarest anime goods video. Honestly, it's just something you can see and appreciate, and having your goods lit up with lights doesn't just make it easier to see, it kind of makes the entire section just pop. I'm not sure how well this comes across on video, but compared to the dozens of glass display cases full of anime figures, the bookshelf now holds its own in the amount of impact it has, instead of being this dim, dark spot that kind of felt like an afterthought in the room. And since I love my visual novels as much as my figures, the fact that it has the same presence as the Detolfs now is just pure bliss to me. This was kind of awkward for a long video, but also too long to be a short, so I really did debate on whether or not it was worth editing, but I really liked the end result. So if you have a Billy or are planning to get one, I would 100% recommend it. It is some work, especially if you have no experience like me, but definitely worth it for the price. Just make sure not to make the same dumb mistakes I did. And with this project finally out of the way, the room is now 70% complete. I do have a few more upgrades planned, so 2025 room tour at the end of the year. Hope to see you all then, and I guess I'll see you around. Peace.